Hello and welcome to Push2 Plat Level Cap, a pure trophy achievement podcast where we're only interested in boosting your level and our own. I'm Cj Affectatiousdonk and I'm joined today by co-host CoolKidJoe. Joe, how are you today, sir?
CJ, we're doing fantastic.
Good. I was worried for a second there you were going to go on the other tangent because I know you're a little bitter today and you're a little bitter about a bit of a price differential, I believe, on some Kingdom Hearts. Please tell me about this.
I am so salty. So, yeah, Kingdom Hearts came out this week on the Xbox One, and the 1.5 2.5 bundle is $50 and the 2.8 bundle is $60. And the PS4 versions of the story so far, which comes with both of those, is on sale at Best Buy this week for $20. So there's kind of a $90 differential there. I like, since they announced that it was coming, I think at E3, or maybe it was like an Inside Xbox or something like that during Gamescom or whatever. I was super excited to play those, and I figured they would be priced reasonably. Square Enix, why are you doing me hard like this? What are you doing?
It's bizarre, isn't it? Because there's no. I was listening to an interview with Phil Spencer the other day just about different things, and this obviously didn't come up, but there was no mention of this still being an exclusive to PlayStation. I mean, it's not an exclusive anymore, so there's no reason for this price, is there? That's been given.
I mean, like 2.8 is like a newer game, and I get that or whatever, but like 1.5 and 2.5 are just remakes of like 20 and 15 years old at this point. Like now, I mean,
You're getting plenty of value for your money though, because those games go forever. 1.5, 2.5, 2.3, 2.6, 2.8, whatever they're up to. I don't even know.
I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's just like principle, because I mean, like, I know that it's out or whatever, and you got to make sure that you get your like money because you spent money on it to like make it and stuff like that. But like when Rise of the Tomb Raider was an Xbox exclusive and it launched at $60, or it was 50 on the 360, and then when it came over to PlayStation, oh, and Square Enix also published this, I think you guys got it for, it was either 50 or $60. It came with like this cool little art book sleeve or whatever. It's nice. It's kind of glossy. Some people don't like those or whatever. I personally like special cases and stuff like that. And it came with the season pass with all the DLC in it for normal price.
Well, look, that's the way it is. Joe, as you were talking, I just realized our run sheet for today is primarily in green. Isn't that fantastic? The Xbox is taking over. There's like 2 blue things on the whole run sheet. Look, I know that doesn't interest you listeners, but I'm impressed. It's good. It's good, Joe, because I didn't turn on the Xbox this week, so at least there's a little bit of green in my life at the moment. Now, why don't we move on? Because unfortunately, no one's raising their level with Kingdom Hearts. Probably their frustration levels, but not their trophy or achievement levels. So let's touch on quickly this big in Japan sale. So this is on the US store. Is that correct there, Joe?
Yes.
Excellent. And I believe it's on the US store. It's launching tomorrow as of time of recording, listeners, through to the 6th of March. Look, I really do recommend you have a look at this sale. There's a lot of decent prices there. Sure, there's a few things in the AAA realm that, maybe or maybe not discounted that much, but there are a couple of VNs here, Joe. So I thought I'd just throw them out. If you have any comments on these, please share. But these are the sort of quicker VNs if you're looking for. The advantage too is these are obviously going to be in English. Many of these have multiple stacks, some Japanese, some Asian, some Korean as well to consider. PS4 and Vita. So we've got Bad Apple Wars at $12. These prices are all in US currency. Chaos Child, Joe, one of the many stacks of Chaos Child, at $12. Code Realize games. So there's a few Code Realize games ranging from $12 to $20. Those games range anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours if you're skipping. Collar X Malice, this is a good price at $12. Period Cube, Shackles of Amadeus at $12. Both the Psychedelica games, the Black Butterfly and the Ashen Hawk at $12. I think, Joe, you said you've done these Psychedelica games?
Yeah, those I platinumed the US Vita versions of those. I actually got them on almost a disc cartridge at my
Mm-hmm.
GameStop while they had a buy two get one free sale.
Yeah, they're good VNs. These ones, if you're playing the skipping game or whatever, listeners, here to boost your level, these ones do have a bit of map interaction. It's not a straight text based choice VN, so it can just a little bit to get your head around. It's not a bad idea to do these both at the same sort of time. If you are gonna dabble in the Asian version, it's not bad to do that at the same time as well while your head's all around it. This is a VN that perhaps if you had two Vitas, it's a lot easier to skip these both at the same time and go step for step. Then Punchline, Joe. I'm sure you're familiar with Punchline by now. $13 here.
Yeah, I have the EU stack on my PS4 currently, and does that share a list or does that stack?
Yeah, so no, this has got plenty of stacks. Japanese, there's a Western stack, EU, NA as well. There are also Vita stacks to this game as well. So it's a pretty straightforward VN. It's the only difficulty in this is the CG gallery, of course, all the panties. So just follow that carefully. And Joey, I know it's difficult because I've done every version, but I've only platted one because I always missed one set of panties. And then the last time I got it, but look, I think it was a fluke. But look, I know the guide works perfectly. I know that was myself, listeners. Then, if you're looking for something that's a little bit of a different VN here, Song of Memories. This is actually not a bad reading VN either. Of course, it's a fine skipping VN. It's a little bit longer. I'm going to say the 4 to 5 hour mark. Again, this is basically just a text base, but there is some offshoots, like a sort of map decisions. There are rhythm games in this, but you don't have to do them for the plat. So if you're interested in reading a VN with some different mechanics, this is definitely one I would recommend, but also a good skipper. And then, of course, the Spirit Hunter, the Death Mark, and then the Spirit Hunter NG coming in at 16 and 20. Look, the NG is a little bit longer. It requires almost 2 playthroughs or 1.5 playthroughs, but I've seen a very good guide written recently, Joe, on PSN Profiles for the English version, which actually, I like these type of guides, Joe. They give you the option if you just want to skip of what you have to do, but they also just give you enough that it's not spoiling it. So if you want to read it, but you just sort of want to follow along as well, you can do that. So there's a few things for you listeners in the VN category. All of those games have platinums. All of them are under 5 hours as a skip. Some of them are good reading as well. Very good. They're up to you. So look, Joe, I realized in our excitement of talking about Kingdom Hearts, I did not check in with you about your level this week. Where are you up to?
Currently, level 44.
That's not bad. See, every week now you're smashing it, aren't you?
Yeah, I personally felt like this month was a slow month for me or whatever, just because I've been working so much. And I actually looked at my stats today on True Trophies, and I've apparently put up 35,000 trophy XP this month.
Yeah, so Joe, you bring up this True Trophies thing in your 35,000 for this month, but I've been following you, you can add people on this True Trophies or whatever else, and I was actually ahead of you briefly this month, which I was quite impressed with because so far in these last few months, you have been absolutely killing me, but then you've just pulled away. Just really, really fast. So, look, I'm fascinated to hear. I see you're up to 701 trophies already this month. That's very impressive, sir. I'd like to hear what you have to throw at us today for games. Or would you like to throw these sales?
Oh yeah, so I definitely conned you into buying the Monopoly games, I believe,
Did you? I
for
didn't
the
even know I
PS4.
bought them yet.
Oh,
Tell me
I
about
know
these
we
things.
talked about them yesterday.
We did.
They're online. You can boost them on the Xbox One. They're each 1,000 gamer score. On the PS4, they're 100% games. And there's a Monopoly Deal, Monopoly Plus, and then there's a family bundle that comes with both of them. I believe they are the single games are $4 each, and the family bundle I believe is $6. And it's boosting. It's easy, very low maintenance, very relaxing, easy, simple. I believe the longest they take is 2 hours each.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I look forward to doing that, Joe, now that I know that I bought them. Thank you for letting me know
Yes.
that. And what else now? Look, it's not often you see 19 cents.
No,
What is going on here?
the deluxe edition of Adam's Venture is a whole 19 cents with PlayStation Plus this month.
Sony's hard up when they can't even give this away for free. They need the 19 cents.
So I played it on the Xbox One. I own it on the PS4. There's a couple stacks of it. I know there's the PS3 one, and then there's a physical and a digital or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but the game plays like a bootleg Uncharted. I would describe it as, where they just kind of forgot all the combat in it.
Well, I noticed that friend of the show, Redbeard Rick, actually refers to this as the poor man's Uncharted. The very Very poor man, Joe. So I think that's quite apropos. I like that description. But I mean, talk to us about the achievements or the platinum. Is it that involved?
There's a couple missable ones. Nothing too crazy. Like when you're in his house or mansion or whatever in the beginning, I played it so long ago, I don't honestly remember, and it's honestly kind of shovelware to me. I kind of got lost in his home or whatever in the beginning or wherever it was. And I'm like, I know that you have to do
Mm,
like interact with like a globe or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, where is this or whatever?" And it's just like it's not it's open, but it's not open or whatever, and it's like kind of, you know what I mean?
yeah. So on a scale of 0 to 10, neck myself with the noose right now, where does this game sort of sit?
I personally imported a copy of it on the Xbox One, and I paid like $73 for it, and to get it shipped from the
Oh, wow. So it's high on the neck yourself for
yeah
you.
yeah no and no, because it was like when I was collecting Xbox One games, and I was like trying to keep the
Mm.
library complete because I had the library complete for the first like 3.5 years of the console lifespan, and then I kinda just stopped because it was getting to be way too expensive when you're buying games that you could get for 19 cents for $73.
I sense a little bitterness there, Joe.
Yeah, I mean yeah. But, I mean, the game's only, like I think it's 3 to 4 hours to get the 1,000 or get the platinum in. I was not a fan of it. I also think I spent about $85 too much, so 19 cents might be a little too much for that game.
So, listeners, with this game, if you're looking at it, it is around 3 to 4 hours. There are sort of semi missables. There is a chapter select, so you can clean up everything after it. What you're looking out for are the globes in the game throughout. Now, there are some fantastic guides. My understanding is there's no one fantastic, at least on PlayStation, walkthrough or video guide. Although there are a few that are quite speedy. But look, look, if there's no dead missables, if you can go back, it's probably not that bad. And look, for 19 cents, I think you're not going to find a rat game for 19 cents. So it's not such a bad choice. I feel hard up for a few points this week, listeners. Now, Joe, let's move on though to the games that you want to talk about. What would you like to throw out?
I'm gonna go with the, excellently named Pipe Push Paradise.
The PPP.
You said PP.
Tell me about this game. Tell me why.
So it's like a puzzle game, and you basically just go through levels and you connect pipes or whatever to connect the water back to your home all the way at the beginning of the level. It's been a while since I played it. I did enjoy it when I played it.
Is this a game you're using the guide though for the whole way, or
I tried to I see I like puzzle games or whatever, and I will do it until I get frustrated. I will try to do them without like the guides. So I'll play like a game like that. I'll play it until like I can't figure it out anymore, and I'm just like, yeah, no, we're trying to get this done at this point. But that one wasn't too bad. I believe it was like $7 last week, which is a little expensive for me. But like, I mean, like I like games like that, so I don't mind paying it.
and how long is this?
It was like 2 to 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah, it definitely qualifies. And you said, as it goes on, the guide later, it does get quite difficult then at the end, or it's manageable with the guide.
With the guy, very easy to do. The very last puzzle was like wild because you're basically just like progressing through and making like a long chain of pipes through each level. And at the end or whatever, you have to push something all the way back to the beginning of the game, and it gets a little complicated.
Well, look, listeners, I'm going to start with, nothing again that's new if you're in the trophy whoring community, but the Just a Phrase by Powgie. So this game came out the other week or whatever else. Look, it's very simple, perhaps the simplest of their games so far. There are 8 sort of, I suppose, missable trophies, but nothing, of course, is missable in this. I'm going to use the word missable because I'm going to let the people that are not in the know. So I know you, Mr. Hardcore Trophy Hunter, now that's just like shaking their head going, God, CJ, I know this already. What are you doing? But, there may be some of us that, don't know. Joe, this is a fantastic game for a turbo controller. If you turbo all four face buttons, the game will basically platinum itself, with the exception of these 8 trophies. Now, look, if you're lucky, it may get some of these 8 trophies as well. So what you're doing, basically, listeners, if you're not familiar with this game, is that it's just cycling through all the letters until it fills out the phrase. Yeah, there is a trophy, 26 trophies for each individual letter being the last letter for the game. Now, I've done it 3 times with the turbo, and I think once I got all the letters, and the other 2 times it missed 2. So I did go back and clean that up. Now, there is a wonderful guide on Noff's Trophies Guides, the Noffers out there, and that can get that for you. The 8, semi-missable. If you like trophies that you have no wrong letter, obviously, unless you're, a freaky god, it's unlikely your turbo controller is going to achieve that one for you. But again, that can be taken care easily with the guide. Getting the first letter wrong, that should come naturally with the turbo method. A phrase in 60 seconds, that will probably come naturally in the turbo as well. Taking more than 1 minute for one letter, so you can just find that yourself easily. Completing a phrase by only pressing one button. So again, you could turbo this if you're only one, but you're probably just there's a little bit of hit and miss in this one, a little bit of RNG if you like. Might take a couple of goes because it just depends if the face button you chose to press still has a letter on it at the end. But a couple of times maximum. What else here we got here? Oh yeah, and complete a phrase for the second time. So look, it's really, really simple, but with a turbo controller, this is a perfect game to be doing something else with. I heard rumors that it takes longer with a turbo, but look, I don't think it takes much longer, because I noticed one of the stacks came in for me at an hour and 2 minutes, and I was away for a period of time after it finished. So you could probably even rack up a pretty fast time, Joe, with a with a turbo controller. And I understand, Joe, you're joining the ranks of the PlayStation turbo controller.
Yeah, it actually came in yesterday.
Perfect. Well, look, I think you should christen it with this game. I think it would be a perfect start for you. Now, what else have you got for our listeners this week?
I already did all of them.
Oh, dear. See, this is why I can't catch you. So what else can you throw out for this week?
I picked Bulb Boy, which is a little point and click game for PS4 and Xbox One. It's in the 1 to 3 hour range. Really easy. It doesn't have a platinum on PS4. It does stack though, between North America and Europe. And in one of the levels, you have to stop a giant poop monster, which I thought was fantastic.
Excellent. I do like that. So that sounds like a great level building game, Joe. Now, the next one that I'd like to present is in the same vein, listeners. I present this for you today, the case for spam or quick level hunting, if you wish, but also a twist of fun. And this is The River Bond by Coco Cucumber. Now, if you are in possession of the Xbox Game Pass, then this game, as Joe has told me, is free. But look, to be honest, what isn't free now on the Xbox Game Pass? So that is no surprise. But what is this game? Well, look, it's an up to 4-player local co-op adventure game. Now, it can all be played in single player. There are no trophies or achievements required for having multiple controllers. So you don't need 2, 3, 4 controllers or multiple people. It becomes easier if there's more people. It's maybe more fun as well. But look, it's not required. I played a majority of the game in single player, and it's very, very straightforward. So what is it? It's a pixelated hack and slash, I suppose you could call it. If you think of Minecraft, you've got the art style in your head already. It's very vibrant and very colorful. Now, there is 8 stories in this game. There's a trophy related to finishing each of the stories. Now, there is a DLC pack as well, but that is free, and that actually makes this platinum or 1,000 gamer score even easier for completion. So basically how that works is that throughout the missions, if you like, and each of the adventures is broken up into around 6 to 8 missions, you need to collect a total of 35 stars and 35 skins. Now, there is a sort of 1 star per level, and there's, depending on the level, multiple skins. By the addition of this DLC, you now have an additional at least 6 stars and, quite a few extra skins. So it just makes this a lot more manageable. You're not going to need a guide for this anyway. It's all pretty straightforward. forward. So the premise of the gameplay here, as I said, is hack and slash. You move through these 6 to 8 missions. If you die, you get reset to the checkpoint. If you didn't make it to the checkpoint, any of the monsters or enemies you killed along the way stay dead. There is a major boss fight at the end of each story, but the same principle happens. If you die, their health bar doesn't regenerate. So it's just a matter of time. Each of the missions is maybe 3 to 5 minutes maximum. So to play the whole story, you're looking at around 20 minutes tops. There are some missable trophies for weapon kills, which you'll get naturally across the way, but probably the ones to watch out for are talking to the NPCs. So each story or adventure has one NPC tied to it somewhere in the 6 to 8 missions. Now, something to bear in mind is that there is no chapter select within the story. Of course, you can play the 20 minutes again to find it if you miss it. What I'd suggest is I don't think you really need a guide here either. You can just talk to every NPC. It might just require a little bit of exploration, but at 3 to 5 minutes per level, we're not talking about, a serious commitment or investment here, listeners. And look, you might even enjoy it. There are some delightful little stories along the way. I really like this game. It's perfect for slow level build. There you go, listen, a slow level build. You can sort of do 1 or 2 of the stories each day. It's only 20 or 40-minute experience, and then you'll end up with your plat or completion, within a week quite comfortably. So, Joe, I'm going to throw this one out there for consideration this week. So, Joe, as good as Riverbond is, it is not a staple. It is not a classic of the I don't want to say spam game category because I know this is an important game to you. I know you're passionate about it, but this is a classic. Please tell me about this next game.
So the next game that I chose is for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and it is actually getting a little difficult to find physically if that's a thing that you're into, but it's Barbie and her sister's puppy rescue, or as I like to personally call it, Barbie and her sister's puppy kidnapping ring.
So what does Barbie's puppy rescue hold for a middle-aged or a younger middle-aged man, Joe?
So, the whole premise of the game is you go around town and you pick up stray dogs that are just kind of chilling in people's front yards, and you bathe them and you like clip their toenails and stuff like that, and you teach them tricks, and then you sell them.
Now, hang on a sec. Don't you get to brush their teeth, or am I thinking of another game?
No, you definitely get to brush their teeth and you can deflea them and stuff like that. There's a fair share of garbage mini games.
Is this is not that short though, is it? Is this around 8 to 10 hours or something?
Yes, it is.
So you really got to love Barbie.
Oh, no, you have to rescue I don't know how it's rescuing or whatever, like, when you rescue them or whatever, you have to do it with 25 of them, which
Hmm.
kinda takes a while because you have to go around the town and you have to find them. The whole, like, selling of the dogs thing is fantastic. It also stacks on the PlayStation 3. It has a US and an EU version.
That's correct, yeah. And I know at one point even one of the digital versions was hard to come by. I think it was temporarily delisted or something, but I think listeners don't quote me on this. I do think you can buy both again now, but as you say, the physical stuff. This is what we would call old school spam, Joe. This is the games that you used to have to play, but to boost the level. You don't see this come up much anymore, but you would recommend it by the sound of it.
Oh yeah, I had a ton of fun with it, like way more than I probably should have. Because like when you look at it, it just looks really spammy. It's just like, and this is like back in like the 360 life cycle before all the Radalicas and stuff like that, where you had to play games or whatever that took time to get your trophies and your achievements.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's good to see some old school spam and some PS3 PS3 love coming back. And look, the last one I'm going to throw at you listeners on the other end of the spectrum, something for VR because look, why not? I emptied the bucket and I was ready to go again. So I decided Coaster VR would be my poison of choice for this week. This has dropped on the EU and NA store. It's a couple of bucks or whatever. It's only 100% game. Look, it involves 4 roller coasters. If you're like you're strapped in, you just sit there. The only gameplay in this game is the L1 bumper for braking and the R1 button for accelerating. neither of which you have to partake in if you so choose. If you just want to make the experience go faster or see if you can throw up across the whole room, you can make it go as fast as you like. Yeah, this is the sort of game where there's no even head tracking involved. So if you've had too much of it, you can even just leave the headset just sitting in front of the screen and it will play out. So the trophy requirements are to complete three rides, if you like, on each of the roller coasters. There's a moon, a space, a picnic, and a room. And then after that, to complete five of each as well. So if you just do five of each as you go through, my advice would be that I did quit out at one point through this, and I think it reset the counter on the EU stack. So or version. So just be careful of that. It might be a plus to do this all in one go, but look, it's going to take you 30 minutes maximum. As I said, most of it can be AFK if it is too much for you. If you're going to play it, it's not bad. The premise is that you're a miniature roller coaster, if you like. So you're going through a space setting or across picnic tables and food and stuff. The music track is very positive and happy. So look, this is an experience, not a game. But look, also having said that, there are 2 gold and 4 silver here, so 300 points for bare minimum work, and not a bad, I suppose, demonstration of VR to a non-gamer or a non-VR gamer, I suppose, if you like, Joe. So look, there's plenty there, listeners, to get you moving along. But it's time, Joe. We've had a bit of an up and down ride with this Radar Platter of the Week over the last couple of weeks, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a very steep curve into next week as well. But let's stay with where we are this week, and we're talking about the Nighton Plus by Must Die Studios. Again, the code provided by the developer, so take that for whatever you like, listeners. But look, we would have played it either way, as you know. So, Joe, what do you think?
I personally wasn't a fan, and like I've been kind of, yeah, no, like I usually at least like find like a little bit of enjoyment in these like Ratalaika games, and just like the last couple is just like I don't know if they're running out of like easy ones or whatever, but they seem like they're getting more difficult and like a
Mm,
little bit more agitating as like time has been going on lately. This one wasn't as aggravating as was it 0000?
yes, yeah.
That one was frustrating. This one isn't as bad. I had a little bit of trouble with the second boss or whatever, probably because I'm impatient. It's probably really easy and I'm just impatient. I haven't finished it yet. I'm using Bad Driver's Guide, which is good, but he gets lost for like a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely that sort of game. I wonder, Joe. See, it's interesting. I was thinking about this too. I mean, towards the end of last year, we're getting things like Red Bow and Big Sister, more narrative, if you like. Adventures or whatever else, or stories basically. And now, the last 2 weeks we've had, in effect, two platformers or whatever, although quite different platformers. And now we have a more classic adventure game, almost like a Zelda type cloney type ripoff or something. So it's different to the standard games where you play with a guide. I mean, these games almost, for want of a better word, listeners, they almost require some skill. It's disgusting, I know, but this is what it is. So perhaps, Joe, that is your position as well. Now, you said you followed the guide and it got a bit lost. There are some pretty tough puzzles in this as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I had a couple times or whatever where I wasn't like paying attention. I was trying to follow the video and play at the same time, and I kind of pushed the collectible up against the wall. And yeah, I did that like 3 or 4 times. And then I had to go back to the menu, and then like I go back to a checkpoint, and then like I'm a couple rooms away, and then I gotta fight enemies again, and like the health isn't very fruitful in it or whatever. Like there's not very many health pickups.
Yeah, yeah. You do. It's an interesting mechanic there, where if there are plenty of, well, not plenty, but there's quite a few save spots, particularly before the boss, and so you regenerate if you die with the health that you had. So it's almost better to try and run over the save spot in full health if you can. So my tips here for this one, listeners, would be, particularly if you're going to stack it, this is a game that I think you can play without the guide after the first time. I've been thinking about it. There is on Steam a fantastic puzzle guide. So they're basically just picture puzzles of running across things on the floor. There is also a moving block puzzle. The moving block puzzles may require the video guide depending on your memory, but you could just use the Steam puzzle guide that would help you. And Joe, I don't know if you knew this or not. I see Mr. Bad Driver sat on this information for a while, but he's pushing it forward now. There is cheats for this game as well. The only cheat of significance is a God mode that you could put on, which would alleviate your health problems, I feel.
Mm.
If you so wish. Yeah. Well, look, you've still got 5 stacks to go. So I won't actually tell you, Joe, but when I go just a little behind the scenes, listeners, normally these code comes in or whatever else, and it's just a bit of description about the game or whatever else. Interestingly enough, not who made it. You have to link through for that, which I find interesting to say the least. But this time, this one actually came with both links to the cheat and the Steam guide, Joe. So perhaps they realize they are getting a little bit more tricky. But look, either way, it's definitely manageable, listeners, as I said. But tips, check out Steam, check out that guide or whatever else, particularly if you don't want to do the video. And look, I look forward, Joe. You're on a descending path with these games. I can't wait to hear what you think of next week's one. So look, until then, Joe, what are you going to buy this week? What are you wasting your money
Honestly, probably just some Funko Pops.
on? Do you have any in particular?
No, what's it called? I believe Emerald City Comic Con is sometime next month. So those I'm gonna buy, but I've been kind of like catching up on like ones that I wanted.
Well, that sounds good, Joe. Sometimes it's good to give the store a break. So, look, for myself, listeners, I think I'll be dumping a little bit of money into this 2 Point Hospital by 2 Point Studios, published by Sega. This looks interesting, an over the top, cartoony indie hospital simulator. So, I think this definitely will attract me this week. Although I did get a little burnt last week on the store. Picked up a few things that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, including a drone racer, which is incredibly difficult, DCL drone racer. But we'll see. I've also got Bayonetta and Vanquish and a few other things kicking around. So I think my hands are full at the moment, Joe. Now, if the audience was trying to find you, where could they do this?
At CoolKidJoe XBL and on Twitter, and I am CoolKidJoe on PlayStation and on Xbox.
Perfect. And if you're trying to find me, I'm Affectatiousdonk on the PSN. If you'd like to come and say hello to myself, Mindy, or Joe, please do so. Our Discord link is in the show notes. Come and join the Push2 Plat Platinum community if you wish to post plats and get a shout out on the main show. If you want to say hi on Twitter, we are at Push2Plat, push the number 2Plat, or you can email us at push2plat@gmail.com. If you want to throw us a couple of dollars and some extra support, we do have a Patreon up and running. So listeners, until next week, may the trophies fly, may the platinums land on your account, may the gamer score go up, may we all go off and have an awesome time. Let's smash that cap together. Thank ya, see ya, bye.
Later.